create scalable income for medical professionals. And I actually have a concept for a program. And Joy said, well, why don't we see if it's a viable concept and see if it's a scalable model? So she's actually going to show you how she's going to work with you and me today to see if my program's viable, see if it's something that I can bring to market. So welcome, Joy. I'm so excited to have you here.
Oh, thanks for letting me be here with your community. Such an impressive group of humans you've collected.
Thank you. And I just want to say, Joy works with so many professionals in our field, but what's so impressive about her is she has brought to light programs for Dr. Amy Myers. She actually helped put her on the map, and other practitioners like Chris Kresser, Sarah Gottfried, JJ Virgin, even Dr. Daniel Amen. And that's just so impressive. And it's like an honor to be working with you. I feel like I'm leveling up, which is good.
Well, we are blessed to have worked with some really amazing people, and through their work, Travis and I feel like, well, we're contributing to the world's health as well by helping them ramp up the number of people, the volume of people whose lives they're able to touch.
I love that. That's great.
All right. Well, just because Jody, you're a little farther down the line than some people, we promised in our email to y'all that we would answer just some of the basics about moving into online programs. For any of you who are already in this realm, we'll move through that very quickly. But I do want to make sure we're at least using the same terminology and we all understand exactly what we're talking about when we talk about adding online programs as a form of additional revenue. So Jody, I'm going to go ahead and screen share if that's okay with you.
Absolutely. Please do.
There we go.
And while Joy is getting set up, if any of you have any questions as we go along, you can go ahead and put your questions in the comments below on this podcast, on this live, if you're attending live with us. And feel free to reach out if you have other questions. And one of the things that Joy is going to be doing, and we're not going to talk about this today, but she's going to be offering a special deal on her program just for the members of this group. So if you have any friends who are not in the group that might be interested as well, please do invite them to join our group. They have to be medical professionals to join our group.
All right, you guys. So just like we promised in the email, the whole point of our conversation today is to try to unleash the hidden wealth in your treatment plans. And if you're going to consider doing that, I would like to reveal everything that I believe you should know before turning protocols into profitable online programs, because we want to make some clear distinctions. So in today's conversation, we'll cover, well, all right, what exactly is an online health program? What do we mean by that? We also want to touch on how to protect your health business. There's some very distinct legal financial strategies. We want to make sure that we touch upon those. And then how do you choose a profitable program topic, right? There might be something you're passionate about, but we want to make sure that it's viable and it will be a profitable adventure for all the work that you'll need to do. And then how do you efficiently construct it, right? We want to get you out of perfection paralysis, and we want you to move towards profit quickly, because we found the momentum makes all the difference. Okay. And last but not least, if you're going to make it, you're also going to need to know how to invite your audience to join your program. All right. We want cohort 1 filled with people who already know, like, and trust you. And so we'll walk you through how to do that too. And then Jody has done a little homework for me, and we're going to be picking apart her program idea to see if that is a good, viable program for her to launch. Sound good?
I can't wait.
Okay, Jody introduced me already. I'm Joy. I'm the co-founder here at Heal at Scale. I gave myself the title Chief Connection Officer because that really is what I love the most about this business and about being online, is its ability to connect more people to your superpowers. You can do that one-on-one in your clinic, but how that gets exponentiated using the internet is, to me, nothing short of miraculous. So that's what I go by around here. Again, we are blessed to have been a part of some amazing teams. I mean, working with Chris Kresser, who's just changing the way that chronic disease is being treated and bringing coaches into that conversation, so it's not all on the doctors. There's actually someone helping with the day-to-day implementation. What JJ's done for weight loss resistance, what Sarah's done for hormones, Amy, oh my gosh, what a blessing and a joy to work with her, and to see her shift right from this busy stuck in clinic mom to having tons of time to play with Elle, her little girl. I mean, this, even if you love one-on-one, what adding scalable revenue can do is it's really fun. It's very life-changing. You wouldn't be here if you weren't curious about that. Now, these aren't people that we've just worked with momentarily, fly by night. We were integral in the development of a lot of these people's businesses. So I won't read through all of these, but we have some pretty darn good feedback. You can find that on our website at Heal at Scale if you want to go through any of these. Carl, who is JJ's partner in Mindshare, I love that he calls it pure marketing sorcery. Do the work, follow the process, get results. There's a lot of these, you guys, on the site. So I'm not going to waste your time tooting my own horn, so to speak, because I really want to get in and kind of get dirty and actually do the work with Jody. So we're going to fly through this really, really quickly. But I do want you to know the whole point. The whole point of our time together is to get you to open your mind about leveraging your expertise, because I guarantee you, if you are good at your job, what you're doing one-on-one can change the world exponentially if we can help you to leverage that and get to the one-to-many offers where your expertise reaches a lot more people. So we want to be creating income beyond one-on-one. We want to show you how to use live group programs. Okay. I know that might make some of you nervous, the concept of it being live, but hang with me. I'd like you to know how to do live group programs for your first cohort, and then turn those into evergreen courses, which are going to be a little more DIY, and they're going to cost people a little bit less because they don't get to be as close to you. And that can bring revenue into your business model in 4 ways, right? The live option, the evergreen option, which is just the recorded DIY version, plus the sale of any related supplements or products like bars or proteins or any other products that might align with your course. And then 4th, some of that will stream through to your actual one-on-one business for those of you who are also looking to grow that part of your business model. So what exactly is an online health program? Well, technically and legally speaking, online health programs are information products, right? You might have heard them called info products. That's exactly what online health programs are. They're simply a knowledge share. And even beyond knowledge share, you guys, it's you revealing all the little nuances, right? Why do you like this Genova lab test over that Ultra lab test? Why do you like this supplement over that supplement? The little nuanced differences are priceless to the audience that needs you, right? It could be the difference between success or failure, just the tiny nuances that you guys live and breathe every day, and you just don't even think about it. It's like you're a fish and you're in water. And when you start to unwind your program, you're going to see that the people who need you, they need to know all about the water. And you guys are just submersed in it. It's just about pulling all that knowledge out of your head and organizing it. Now, what online health programs are not is medical care. They're just not medical care. It's just an information product. And that's why you're going to see that we have a very clear way of separating those two. But before I will move on to that, I just want to let you know that the one key differentiating factor between successful and not so successful online programs is this. They need to present content in a modular progression. Right? And what that does is it helps people's understanding of their condition grow over time, right? Because chances are you could probably just give a knowledge dump, like here's everything I know. That actually doesn't help them. It actually makes it worse. It actually buries them and makes them feel like, oh my God, like if I have to do all that A to Z, that's going to overwhelm me. But if you just tell them letter A and then you tell them letter B and so on and so forth, they can digest that information and they can actually implement it in their life. And that's where you see results. And that's where you get the great testimonials. So that's the one other piece, is that we want to be very careful to break your content down into a modular progression. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier. How do we want to protect your business? you will always hear in all of our curriculum, whether it's Travis teaching or me teaching, a very clear delineation between patients, which implies medical care and a legal responsibility for any testing that you order or anything you prescribe, and program participants. And program participants are simply absorbing your knowledge share and implementing and advocating for their own health using that information. Jody, is that clear?
Definitely.
Okay.
Makes a lot of sense, actually.
Okay, got it. So that's the very first separation. And we can't get into today fully how we go about doing that. I just want to make sure that as you're entering the online space, you have that concept very black and white clear in your head. And then as you progress with us in our community, we have financial and legal experts that will come in and talk to you about an even further separation, because a lot of people that you saw on our client list, I know it might be crazy now, especially for those of you who are struggling, this happens really fast. The financial growth and the impact growth can happen very, very quickly. And so as that starts to happen, we'll want you to move from just that dual separation to a triple separation, in which we have like an LLC for your clinic, for caring for patients, one for your online programs, and even a third if you want to go gangbusters at selling your private label supplements or products. Okay, so I just want to, I don't want to shortchange you. I want to let you know that initially two separation, and as you grow bigger and faster, we'll need to move to a triple layer of protection. Okay, again, inside our programs, we have experts who come and talk to you and even offer free consultations for you to talk with them and see if any changes need to be made. Okay.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Joy, because there's so many people that come to me with legal concerns with everything they're doing. And it makes sense. You want to cover yourself but you still want to be able to do this work. So I think it's great that you have all those experts on staff to help with this piece.
It's important. I mean, we've gotten to a place where we're really blessed. You know, I wanted that dream Tesla. I wanted to live at the beach, and, you know, now that's almost paid off. And it's all about how do we give back? And when we find all these people like you who have their hearts full of a desire to help more people than they can possibly touch one-on-one, that can be so exciting that you can forget about the boring stuff, right? The legal and the financial and the structural setup of your business. And we're just not going to allow that. Okay. So we're going to be buzzing in your ear, and then we're going to bring professionals into your world who can help hold your hand through those processes and make sure that you're covered. It's hugely safe. We want you in this for the long haul, right? This is not, online programs are not a cash grab. I think online marketing and online can get a really bad rap. Not on my watch is what I say, not on my watch. All right. So now, how do we choose a program that is actually going to be a profitable one, right? We want to choose a topic or a challenge to tackle that we know is going to have a really high possibility of being a high likelihood of being successful. So here's some really simple questions you can ask yourself. Can you solve a very specific problem? Right? A lot of people come to me and they're like, Joy, I have this great idea. I'm going to do a detox. Or I'm going to do weight loss, right? And we're going to get into some conversations of when we do the research, we want to make sure that that is a good idea, because I can guarantee you, for example, the weight loss concept, I can guarantee you that Weight Watchers and Beachbody and the bazillion other weight loss multi-billion-dollar entities out there can kick our butts when it comes time to trying to promote and capture the audience. We don't want to get ourselves in that situation. So we want to be asking ourselves the question, can we solve a very specific problem? Right? Your example is great, Jody. So I can't wait for us to walk through that. Will people pay to solve that problem? Can you yourself, do you have the experience and the social proof, meaning you've done it before? Can you teach that solution? You feel comfortable teaching it? Can buyers use and apply it, right? So if this is something like, you know, you're working on kidneys and they need a dialysis machine, well, guess what, guys? They can't do that without you. So that would not be a good program. They have to be able to use, apply, implement, or advocate given the information that you give them, okay? And last but not least, we're all upstanding, heart-centered people in this community. We want to make sure what we're offering gets people results. So you need to have the confidence that yes, indeed, this works. Okay, then we can move on to the prereqs. Okay, so once we have the concept, we know what we're doing. We want to confirm the demand. We want to make sure you feel that you've buttoned up. This is a totally proven protocol. And then we want to make sure that you're set up for an online exchange. An online exchange of money, yes, as in can they, do we have a merchant account so that you can receive money? And also, do you have a way to deliver that content to them that's easy, consumable on all devices, that kind of thing. So those are the prereqs for having the course. Now, when it comes to how to efficiently construct your program, there's generally 3 ways you can do that. It's done for you, right? In our agency, brands pay up to $150,000 to get their programs built because they don't want to do it, right? They don't want to come up with the concept, the name, break it down. There's a whole big bunch of work to do. So one is just pay someone to do it for you. The other thing that you can do is do done with you. And we have clients who take our templates, take our process, and they get their booties kicked in twice a week appointments, and we do it with them. And then of course there's the group option, and that's what you guys will be invited to if you guys are interested, and Jody's group gets a discount. And that's where you guys get the exact same templates and the exact same training. It's just that we do it as a group, right? We do it live together. And in essence, that is us walking our talk, because we're telling you to move from the one-on-one model to the group model. And so we have this epiphany, you know what? We better do that too, right? So then once you have your program built, you need to invite your audience to join that program, right? And until you get into paid traffic or advertising, the 3 ways that you can do that is to email the list that you currently have, to post on social. And again, we have templates for all of this. The one great thing that you guys get to do is sort of stand on our shoulders, right? All that client list that you saw, you can imagine how many millions of dollars of ad spend were invested to refine every single opt-in page, thank you page, content delivery page, the way the membership site work, all that has been refined over our last 12 years in business. So you guys kind of get to shortcut and cheat and stand on everyone else's shoulders. The other thing I will say is that a lot of people look at that client list and they think, well, Joy, that's not me, right? I don't have a New York Times bestseller list. I haven't been on Dr. Oz. I'm not on television. That's not me. You guys, the process works whether or not that level of TV and, sort of exposure is there for you. I want to just really quickly show you an example that we just finished last week. This is Taylor Dukes. She's a functional nurse practitioner. She employed the exact same processes that we're teaching you guys about today because she was completely maxed out. Right? Her clinic was full. She had a wait list. So what did she do? She did what everybody does. They hire another doctor, right? Which meant more insurance and more staff. And that was a headache in and of itself. Now she found out she's pregnant with her second child, and she really wants to help more of these people on her wait list. But even adding the doctor did not solve the wait list problem. She wanted to help more people before she leaves for maternity. But she had only a general idea. She's like, I know I want to do gut health because that's my story and that's what I want to sell. So she knew that, but she didn't have a formula. She didn't have it organized. And she certainly had no unique IP that would differentiate her in the market. Intellectual property, no unique intellectual property. So she was completely capped out on the income that she could take home, and she decided to give it a go. So the first thing we did was take her gut health concept and organize it into a visual framework. Now, we have a process around here called the content construct that helps you do that, right? How do we pull those ideas out of your brain, organize them into a very simplified model? Because the problem with y'all is you're so smart that explaining what you do can be really complicated. There is no more complicated thing in this world than the way the human body works. And so when you try to unravel and have a conversation in your sales conversations with people about how this system relies on that system and what happens over here goes, the whole functional medicine world is about looking at the body holistically, right? So anything that you have to explain holistically can be really difficult. So that made modularizing her course really easy, because then we simply covered the big areas she wanted to talk about. And then we broke it up into modules that layered on each other. So we went ahead and got her content construct completed. That automatically organized her content into somewhat of an order, right? So we just had to say, okay, we're going to start, and then the course will work its way around the circle. And in the end, get people the results that she wanted in the middle, right? Once we did that, we pushed the templates into her account. Okay. So the templates that we've already built for you are ready and waiting. We push them into your account. Now, in her case, she has an integrator. Now, this is not even a full-time employee at the time. Her name was Nina. She worked for her 15 hours a week. Okay. So Nina went in, she changed out the fonts, and she changed out the colors and the photos, of course. So I want you to see how that looks so you can get a sense of it. This is the template. Right? We have this overly happy woman placeholder picture here, so you're sure you won't forget to replace it. Your logos, you see we chose some very boring fonts, and then change it to her color palette, swap out her photo, put in her logo, and that looks pretty darn professional for a sales page. And that can happen in a matter of hours with your helper just changing out the colors. And you guys, I have to say, I'm not the tech genius around here. That's Travis. And I can go in and build these pages. Even those of you who are tech phobic, we've made it really plug and play simple for you. Now here's the membership site. This is the template for the membership site. We know how these perform best. So we went ahead and did the same thing. Had her integrator go in and customize it. Now, there are some things that make the site look a little more elegant, right? So if you're going to give them a workbook, why not have a really pretty iPad version of the workbook so they know they're not going to get a printed workbook in the mail. It's actually a digital asset. I've gone ahead and made in Canva for you all the templates for these pretty little accents that make it look nicer, more elegant. So you want your picture floating in a background that matches? Great. All those templates are ready and waiting for you. So what happened, right? Now, we sent one email to her waitlist that said, hey, we're going to announce this on Instagram tomorrow. From that first email, we have 49 sales. Her program cost $1,985. She had 49 sales. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. That was $97,000. I don't know about you guys, but on a day that I send one email and I make $97,000, I'm gonna have a nice little party that night. The next day, it was announced on Instagram, we had another 47 sales. Now, we're not going to leave it at that because that's just organically people who are interested in it. We want to work a little harder and we want to put out a webinar, a free training, right? Now, the reason that we want to do that is twofold. One, we want more sales, right? We like some more sales. We'll educate them a little and make sure that if they're on the fence, we can plunk them over to the other side. The second reason is even if they're not interested or ready to buy, we want to grow our list of interested people. And so all the people who register are now in our world, right? They're now on our email list and we can talk to them later and maybe sell them that evergreen version. Remember how I said, I want you to do a live version and then record it? Well, maybe they might be interested in the lesser priced version of the course that might be out 3 months from now that doesn't require any of your one-on-one time. So we want them on our list. Okay. Now the financials after that webinar to date, when we closed last week, she's at $519,000. So she's up over the $500,000 mark. She had never had any online offers before at all. Right. And we started her list in this, in the CRM that we work with from scratch. And she now has a new list of 1,208 people. She's pixeled, which is just a little Facebook super piece of code that we teach you how to land on the pages of your sales page, right? 5,900 people pixeled. That means the moment we want to spend money on paid traffic to get more people, we can immediately have Facebook send ads to those 5,902 people. That's a good leg up. Okay. Now she has the scalability because everything that we gave her, she can hit repeat, she can hit duplicate, and she can repeat it for her next course. Wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. She's already ready to deploy her next course because the first one is already built. Now, I don't want you guys to think that this is someone who's been on TV, has best-selling books. She has a modest list, less than 2,000 people. She had followers on Instagram, but not millions, right? That's a very reasonable following. So I just share this with you because I don't want you to be scared off by the Amy Meyers and Chris Kressers of the world. This is doable for all of us, okay? And because internet marketing can be a super spammy space and integrity is of the utmost importance to me, this is a screen capture of the back end of that account. Right? So there's the new visitors that we have pixels, page visitors, right? All those people are pixeled. I've even shown you the math here because 251 sales at $1,985. That's what that comes out to. The math here down below has to do with the fact that we have a 3-pay option, right? It was almost $2,000. So she offered to divide that up into 3 payments for people who needed it. And so the math in the back end is always just going to reflect that first payment of the 3 payments that comes in, just so you're perfectly transparent. So that is actually happening in real time. Now, what was great about this is, of course, it can help you fall back in love with your health business, right? I mean, it gives you if you made 500 grand, you guys, in a couple of weeks of promoting something, I would say that would take the pressure off. You could do one-on-one 1, 2, 3 days a week, right? Relax a little bit and actually get back to loving it. You can choose how much one-on-one care you do. It gives you the safety of reliably steady income. Like, remember I told you that Taylor's pregnant? So of course she's calling me like weepy that weekend after that first and second email being like, I've never made $200,000 in a year, let alone like this quickly. I have no concerns about where money's going to come from when I'm on maternity leave. And that's the kind of stuff that, like, of course, I'm a sap. I'm like crying when she's saying that. It was adorable. This is the stuff that can give you guys freedom to do more of what you want. I think that all of you could be next at doing this. So now let's show you the process and let's jump into Jody's idea. The whole point is that you get to stand on our shoulders, right? Because I realized that just like if I had to stand in for Jody at her clinic tomorrow, I would be so overwhelmed. Even if she told me exactly what to do, I would be a nervous wreck. So I just want to honor that we're going to ask Jody to do some stuff live with me, and we're going to give her lots of bandwidth to be, as silly and fun or slow as she needs to be with this, because I get that all of what I do is as intimidating to you as what you guys do is intimidating to me. So we're just going to be really careful about it. But I do want you to know that any of the things that we can do to avoid overwhelm, we're going to do that. Mostly that looks like giving you tech templates, so you never have to figure that out from scratch. And then to make sure that any training we provide you is not only live, but also really well professionally recorded, so that those of you who really stress about it can go back and watch it over and over. And the way we do tech stuff is very point and click. Click here, point here. Travis is great about that. He even like enlarges the little arrow on the mouse so you can see exactly what he's doing. And for tech phobes like me, that makes all the difference. Okay, so Jody, you ready to reveal your idea to everybody?
I am. That sounds great. I'm really excited about this. This sounds so amazing.
So fun, so fun. And by the way, I already want to be a client for this. I'm super excited. I'm 51 this year. So okay. I'm like, okay, what do I do? I don't really want to inject all that stuff in my face that everyone's talking about. So I think this is not only exciting from a business perspective, but personally, I'm hoping for this program to go live. So, okay. So remember I said there were some prerequisites, right? So that was my first litmus test for Jody's idea. So Jody, I followed the money on your idea. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know all of the potential things that people might invest in if they were trying to keep their face or their skin looking great, right? But I do know that all my girlfriends tell me they get Botox injected in their face. So I just went ahead, and fillers, those were the things. So I did a search to find out how much are people spending on fillers and Botox. And it turns out that number is quite large. $1.155 billion right? And more importantly, when I investigated the uptick over the years, we are seeing a 39% year over year increase in the past 5 years. So that stuff's going crazy. So that tells me, is there demand? Heck yeah, there's demand, definitely demand. And then if we think through that too, we've got that whole Whole Foods, Lululemon population, people more like me who are like, I love that my face could look good, but I really don't want you injecting things into it because that sounds super, super scary to me. So I didn't even investigate that. So I would say demand, definitely. Now, then I looked through Jody's Facebook and her website, and I was able to hunt down before and after pictures. So that tells me she has a proven protocol that works, because I saw a lot of these photos with the up close eyes, and even me, who I'm not a skin expert, I'm not a doctor, I could clearly see, oh my God, like, yes, what she's doing works. So I know she has a proven protocol, and I know she has the social proof to back it up. Again, we have a clear check mark there. And then I looked at her site to see, is she offering programs or any online merchant account exchange, meaning she's taking money from people in an online capacity. Now I couldn't find that, but Jody's already enrolled in Protocol to Program. So I know we're taking care of that for her. So we're going to consider that checked off. Okay. Any questions so far, Jody, about that research?
No, I think that's great that you were able to look into that and find that there's a demand for it. And I just wanted to say this, for those of you who missed the last slide, it is a non-surgical facelift program. So we're going to show people how they can fix their, basically reverse the aging process, right?
Exactly. So this is her concept, you guys, a 30-day non-surgical facelift. Okay, which is great that you're representing everyone to your concept, because check this out. I want you guys to be able to do a little research too. Okay, it's Friday, so y'all can have your little wine time, but then at some point this weekend, I would like you to do this too for your program ideas. Here's what it's not like, I mean, I've been doing this for 12 years, but y'all could do this in half an hour. Okay, so here's what I started with. I started with a Google search, right? And I used her term. So Jody's term that she gave me was non-surgical facelift. So I just started there. Now I could go crazy and do a lot of related searches, but here's what I found. When I went in and did a search, you can see here, it says non-surgical facelift. This is literally a screen cap. Of what I found. That's telling you guys somebody out there, in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4 somebodies have proven that it is worth their advertising dollars to pay to be in front of people who put in the term non-surgical facelift. So that means that I'm not the only one who does not want needles in my face. There's more people like me. So if you do a Google search for your terms and you see that there's a few ad things in front of them, you guys know that there's people out there successfully doing that. So that's a really good reassuring factor to try. Okay. Now, the next thing that I want you to do, remember how I had that 1 billion number, is I want you to do some searches for products or procedures that are routinely used for your topic, the topic you're considering. I'll give you an example. So Dr. Nicole Kane has a program called the Anxiety Breakthrough Program. So when we did this, the research showed us how many billions of dollars are being spent on Xanax and you name it, all down the line, right? So when we look at how much the market is willing to spend for a specific problem, that's further verification that you are on the right track picking your program idea. Does that make sense, Jody?
Definitely.
Okay, great. Now there is a third process we don't have time to go through today, but it's called competition telepathy. And that's where we give you a complete checklist to look at 3 competitors, right? I want you to go through and I want you to do some cyber stalking and see what people are loving, what they're hating. I want you to read Amazon reviews. I want you to look at their website. I want you to look at their Facebook. I want you to go stalk around because there's some things they're doing well And there's some things that they're doing not so well. And we're going to be 10% minimum better than they are, so that when we hit the market, we know we're going to satisfy the curiosities and the concerns of that audience, even just a little bit better than our competition. Make sense?
Definitely.
Excellent. Okay, so she passed the litmus test. Woo! She's good. So what she did was she filled out this homework. It's called the Program Accelerator, right? And all it does is describe the problem, look for the promise they want that's opposite of that problem. I'm talking about your avatar, your potential customer. So we're going to look at what are their problems, what kind of promise are they looking for, and where do you have protocols that fit right smack in the middle that are going to be the bridge between their problem and the promise that they're looking for. Okay, so that was Jody's part. She showed up with the homework. This is homework that you have in preparation for protocol to program. And all of that stuff is available. This homework that she did is available for you inside the Heal at Scale Facebook group, if you guys don't want to wait and you want to get a jump on it. So that is available for you in the Heal at Scale Facebook group. Okay, so here's what Jody gave me. This is a sneak peek, but I'm actually, with your permission, Jody, going to get into that document and we're going to play a little bit. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. So I have, you guys will notice that I build you guys homework stuff as PDFs for people who like to print stuff out, but I'm a little bit OCD about also making them in this spreadsheet format, because I like to banter back and forth. I really love just getting my ideas outside my head and kicking them around, right? And Jody, I think this will really help you see that this is helpful for you to do, even if you had done it with maybe a nurse or someone in your practice, one of your coaches who can help you see things that you don't automatically see. Because again, you guys are a fish in water and they don't know anything about all the water. So we want to make sure that we describe everything really clearly. So the first tab in this spreadsheet, again, you guys have access to this, is this right here. It's called the Program Accelerator, and it starts to get you thinking, okay, well, what are my avatar's problems? So Jody already knew, well, they don't like those wrinkly things, right? I know they're called laugh lines, but they're not making me laugh right now. They don't like the age spots. They don't like the jowls or sagging skin. She had a whole bunch of stuff that she knows that they don't like. Well, a little bit of research and a few phone calls had me find out that these women are also not super happy about their thinning lips all of a sudden. We don't know where that lip tissue is going, but it's going somewhere. And something called crepey skin. I never heard that term before, but after the ladies told me, I looked it up. I don't like it either. It's starting to happen like right about here. Sensitive skin. Finding that their skin was becoming more sensitive with age, and also that they were tending to get more dark, hollow under the eyes. So I added a few things after my own research here. And then they also had some questions about the use of these items. So I thought, okay, well, let's just bring it to Jody and see what she has to say about these things. So Jody, would you agree these are symptoms that we could add to your problem category safely?
Definitely. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, great. And if I was to go through your program, would these things also be talked about or addressed?
Yes, I think we could definitely address all those issues.
Great. Okay, awesome. Those were the only things that they mentioned that you didn't mention. So we've got those added on there. And then when I asked them what they wanted, of course, you guys, the promise side is pretty much the easiest homework you'll ever do, right? It's like, look at the pain and say the opposite of that. Right? Now, from a language perspective for sales, I want to warn you that you don't ever want to do the opposite, right? So the exact opposite. So we don't want to say not wrinkly, right? So instead of wrinkles diminishing all over, we might say smoother skin, right?
Okay.
As opposed to wrinkly, we just, instead of doing a, pain, no pain, right? We want to say, instead of pain, or maybe loss of mobility is a good example. Instead of, if they're loss of mobility at the moment, mobility is a fine thing to say. If they're in pain, we don't necessarily want to say pain-free, right? We can start there, but you want to start using the language of the absolute opposite. That would be a positive word association as opposed to a non-negative, which is a slight difference, but it does make a difference in how it lands in people's brain, right? Wherever possible, instead of not thinning lips, we want to say, oh, they want fuller lips. Make sense?
Right. Got it. Yep.
Okay, perfect. And now she's also let me know, okay, well, if they have all of these symptoms right here, well, what are their frustrations, right? And this is where you guys can forget the emotional impact, the financial impact, and the time impact of this stuff up here, of the symptoms. You guys know the symptoms and you even know how to fix the symptoms. And so generally what you guys want me to do is go straight from here's the symptoms, just tell them what to do for the problems. Well, unfortunately, that actually won't sell your program. What will sell your program is getting into their emotional pain and the resonance of that and talking about how it feels. Oh, I just want to bury my pillow. My husband wants to be with me, but I just want to hide. Like I feel old. I feel ugly. I don't feel good. I want to shove away his affection because I'm having unconfidence. We need to actually go there. We have to go there to the dark, dirty stuff that people don't want to talk about. And the really scary thing for people that can kind of feel sort of sleazy, salesy is that in a lot of the things you guys tackle, one of the things that they're worried about when we get down here to the actual fears, right? And I should note here, frustrations happen in the present, right? So if I'm feeling unattractive, that is a frustration right now. So if I have some wrinkles and I'm feeling unattractive, I feel that way right now. My fear has nothing to do with right now. My fear is actually a brain projection of the future, right? So if my current frustration is I feel unattractive, my fear is my husband's going to leave me for some hot little 21-year-old thing. Right. And
Right.
so we don't take the time, especially medical professionals, they don't take the time to think not just what is the current frustration, but where are your people's brains going in the dark, like at bed, before bed, or when they're bored or when they're scared, where does their brain go? And for a lot of you, that's going to be really extreme. I know I had super bad SIBO for a long time. And in the dark of my mind, I thought I was going to die. So it's like there can be a hesitancy to look at the actual darker fears that come from the frustrations because it feels like you're being snake oil salesy. But ironically, the more you do that, the more the person goes, oh my God, Jody knows me. She gets me, she's like, I'm 51. I don't expect to look 20, but I do expect to look the best that I possibly can and to stay clear and radiant with my skin, if at all possible. Right. So if she goes there with me in her stories that she shares, in her marketing, I'm going to have the feeling every time I see her content, like this girl knows me better than I'm all in because she gets me and she's not going to shame me for having the insecurity that my husband's going to leave me for a 21-year-old because I'm 50. And as soon as I go to a place for healing and I know that it's safe to feel any of the dark, more shameful experiences that I might be having inside, friends told me they're paying for packages of Botox, right? So I'd say that's a reasonable price for this program. So let's just say that is $2,000. So I just ponied up my $2,000. I get in there and my prep module is this program will be for anyone interested in preventing and reversing aged, damaged skin. I'm not going to be excited. I'm going to have what's called buyer's remorse, and I'm probably going to refund. So we have lots of tactics that can change that. So I want to show you exactly how we take your very first sketch. And by the way, I know she hasn't had time to fill this out because she's just as busy as you guys. So no judgment on her. This is where you also want to start listing out, hey, do I already have handouts about this? If so, go ahead and put the name of it here and link to it so you can find it later, right? Are there testing and assessments that you like? Now, you guys, remember, we want that separation. Patients, participants. So a lot of you are going to be like, testing. Why would we be giving testing? We don't want that on our license. Hell no, not going to happen. And you're absolutely right. However, you have noticed a trend in direct to consumer testing, right? And you can use that direct to consumer testing. In many cases, there are affiliate relationships, meaning that you can have, reimbursements from these accounts for suggesting certain direct to consumer tests. So if there's some that you would use, please make sure to use them. If there are not, remember that a big part of your program is going to be sharing that nuanced information. Right? So remember when I gave the example of, I really like this Genova test for that, but I like this Ultra Labs test for that. those little nuances you want to share and educate people about, oh, this is why I really love it. It has this particular antibody or whatever it is about it that you love it. You want to go ahead and reveal and share that, because that's part of your unique experience and what makes your pathway to getting the result they want better than anybody else's. Okay. So just because you're not going to recommend it or write a prescription for it doesn't mean that you can't talk and educate about it. Okay. Actions and accountability. Now, this is important because you want engagement, right? You want people to get results, and to get results, they have to be implementing, they have to be engaging. So you want to give them something to do. So let's hop in and I'll show you the next level. So this is the homework that she was to do. And then what happens from that homework is we move the program along. Now, in our world, whenever we give you an assignment, instead of trying to send you a link or it's broken or this or that, we simply send you a make a copy link. So you get your very own fresh, clean version into your own Google Drive account. Okay. There are PDFs for those of you who are old school and like to print, but again, I like to do it online. So here's what we're going to do. We still have a sheet that looks very similar, right? So we're going to have a theme for each week. We're going to lay out the content, the handouts, the assessments, right? We're even going to mark, is it a video? Is it a handout? What is it? We can do all of that. But what I want to focus on really quickly here is I want to take Jody's plan. So here's her plan. Right here on the onboarding, she was just going to kind of give a description. What if when they came into the program, the first thing that they would have to do is some sort of assessment, right? So like, how do you feel about your skin? I think I might have some white text here, you guys. So we could have them do an assessment like, hey, your homework right now is to take before and after pictures, right? That's definitely a good one. Right? We could also ask them to do a personal assessment of how they feel about their skin right now. What do I love? What do I hate? What am I feeling insecure about? What we want to do when we get them inside the program is we want to get them into action and we want to get them excited about their results, but we also want them to know where their starting point is. Right? You can't get Google Maps or anybody else to tell you the directions to where you want to go unless that app knows exactly where your start here point is. Right? And so if we get them in and say, hey, this is what we're headed towards. You are going to love the skin you're in at every age. And I'm going to show you how to do that. But in order to get there, I need you to tell me where you're starting from. So this week, ladies, I want you to do an assessment. So as you're getting ready with your makeup on every morning, I want you to take a mental note and I want you to share in the group what you're loving, what you're hating. So we're really clear on what we love and what's bothering us, right? I want you to get I want you to get such a good before picture because you're going to love your after picture. Those would be easy things for us to do. And then when I just spent my $2,000 and I get in there and I say, oh my gosh, she wants me to do my before and after picture. She cares about how I feel about my skin. Like I thought this was just topical fixing. I didn't know she was actually going to deal with how I feel. That's a completely different experience. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so I get in there and I see she's got me in action and she wants to move forward. Now, really quick, because I don't want us to run short on time. I want you guys to know that the other thing that I'm going to ask Jody to look for, right, is how can we give people an initial surprise? Because remember what I talked about buyer's remorse and that I might want to refund? Jody, can you tell me one cool little trick or a product or an exercise that after I bought the program, I could get in there and I could see there was already a bonus waiting for me? Could you think of anything that it might be good to give them right away as a surprise?
So we could give them a piece of the skincare that we're doing. I was looking online. It's funny that you mentioned the rollers because the rollers are something that's inexpensive and easy to send, or I forget the name of the product that you use for lymph for your face, something like that. We were thinking of incorporating into the program. So something like that would be easy.
Great. Okay. And by the way, you don't even have to give it to them. I think it's a face called a facial stone, right? It's kind of thin and you move it along.
Right.
Okay. I have this. I keep it in the fridge. I like it. Okay. So what we could do, I could say,
Or the
hey,
skincare discount or something.
anything, great. So we could say, okay, awesome. So that could be an initial bonus in there, right? Why I want you to think through these 4 items is because I want you to get amazing testimonials. I want people to love your program. And more importantly, I want them to ascend in your world. And by ascend, I mean, I want them to carry on with you, right? So after I graduate from your skin program, might I be interested in a 3-day women's weekend in Costa Rica with you? I mean, maybe not now given COVID, but you know what I'm saying? Like there might be a next invitation that Jody has for me, and I want all of her customers to be excited to ascend. So the whole point of when we look at this modularized content, we want to make sure that we have a stick strategy in place. We call it a stick strategy because it literally makes people stick with the program. And then by the time they're done, stick with you. Okay. So we want, okay, that's a great discount. What could we fit into the program within the first 3 weeks that's going to give them a quick win? In other words, they're going to look in the mirror and they're going to start to see a little bit of a difference.
So you're saying what could, like something tangible that we're going to give them?
It doesn't have to be tangible. When you have a win, the win is going to be either in the symptoms, right? It can be in the symptoms that the person is upset about itself. It could also be an emotional win. It could be a time-saving win, or it could be a money-saving win, right? So we just want to give them something that is going to change any of these frustrations that you listed out. So any of these, we could give them an information win, right? So, okay, if somebody's spending a ton of money on fillers or they're considering fillers, if they're using Botox, right? For those of you who've been relying on Botox and found that's not a good solution for you, great. Here's an unwinding the damage that Botox can do kind of procedure. It doesn't matter. It's just that we want to give them something that gives them a visceral experience of winning.
Okay. I mean, I could think of, I mean, they will certainly see results within 3 weeks, though, so that the results are going to be great. But I'm thinking,
so you say they'll see results before 3 weeks?
I think so. Yes.
Great.
I've seen
Okay.
results in days with this protocol.
Great. So what we want to do is just right in the beginning weeks of the program, we want to give them a really quick win. So is there one particular piece of your content that you think, yes, strategically, I'm going to put this in the beginning because I know darn well it's going to get these people's skin looking different?
Well, definitely. I think the skincare for one is we're going to do right in the beginning, because the sooner they start using that, the better. We're going to introduce supplements that are beneficial to the skin that will give them a win right away.
Love it. That's perfect.
And yeah.
Okay, great. Now, for yourself and for your team, right? If anybody, you can do this with just one person helping you, and you can do this on your own if you're really dedicated. But what you're going to want to do after you decide what's your initial surprise, right? For when they get in, this prevents buyer's remorse. What's their quick win? So they have momentum. What's their staying bonus? Now, a staying bonus is after your refund date. So let's say that Jody decides, hey, you can come into the program. It's a 4-week program. You can stay for the first 2 weeks. And if you hate it, you could just get out and get a full refund. Now, that would mean that on 2 weeks and 1 day, we would want to make sure the whole early part of the program, we're announcing that this thing is going to happen. And it's a day after the refund period is up. Does that make sense? Got it.
Maybe a discount on the supplements for life, as long as they want to continue, something like that.
Love it. There we go. Okay. Now, for the very end of the program, I want you to think of a gift that would have me move on into the next program or offer you think would be perfect for your skincare graduates.
So an offer that I may want to offer the people once they've been through the program to continue to purchase something or do something with me.
Yes.
Oh, so obviously some of them may want to work one-on-one, and we're trying to get away from that, so that, you
Yep.
know, if they've been happy with how they feel, they're going to feel better and look better once they've gone through this program. And maybe they have other nagging health issues that they want to work with. So we could certainly do that. Perhaps we could do some kind of a membership, Facebook group just for members that has recipes and all kinds of skincare tips, or I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud, but
oh my gosh, I would love to join a community. And this, you guys, adds monthly recurring revenue, right? So monthly recurring revenue can come from ongoing memberships, right? They tend to be a smaller fee, but they're all the time, right? It's great. And it's an amazingly powerful thing to add to your revenue model, right? Because most people, once they get in and love it, they'll just tend to stay in, right? And that means that Jody's going to be able to promote other physical products that she likes. She's also going to be able to promote other skin routine or supplements that she likes. So she's going to keep them in their world. Now, is that much work for Jody? Not really, right? Because especially if you have a nutritionist on staff, you can have someone crank out seasonal menus, which as the years go on, get a little bit rinse and repeat, but we don't need to tell people about that, right? And then she can get in there and do a Q&A maybe once every other week and have a product promotion on the opposite weeks. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. She has 4 weeks in every month worth of content, and people are doing aggressive, like prevention of wrinkles and prevention of the sunspots coming back. And they're actively feeling like I'm supported in a community that knows what it's like to eat a little different and maybe not drink so much wine and pass on the sugar. And now I have the support and love of that community. So it makes my life very easy to stick with the glowing skin that Jody gave me from the program. Does that make sense?
definitely.
Perfect. So now when we move your content that you modularize, when we move this over to your final spreadsheet that you're going to want to work out of, when we do that, we're going to fit in these stick strategies in the right order. So this is going to happen right when they're there. There's going to be a bonus. Ooh, oh my gosh, I get 30% off this thing. I'm totally stoked, right? Quick win. Oh, my skincare routine. I'm on it. I've been on it a week. I'm already seeing some major differences. I love it. That's a quick win. That gives me, the member, momentum I need to stick with it. And then a staying bonus. Well, of course, I'm going to wait. If I'm going to get 15% off her full script account or whatever she's using for life, I'm going to stay in the program past that stick date because I want that. I could easily reimburse the price of the program just from that, right? Then, and we're going to point that out, of course, in that invitation when we make it to them. And then as I'm about to graduate, I find out that, hey, I can ascend and have a lifelong relationship with Jody, because my guess after learning from her is that if there are new advances in this industry, they're not going to go unnoticed by her. But in my life, they're going to be totally unnoticed. I have kids. I'm focused on marketing. I'm trying to stay in the forefront of what Facebook and Instagram are doing. I don't have time to stay in the forefront of my skin. Jody's going to do that for me. I'm in her world. She's my gal. Moving on. Now she has monthly recurring revenue from me. I have trust that I don't have to research skin. She's got me. Make sense?
Definitely.
So what we do is when we modularize that content, we're going to fit it in that same order. So yours is 4 weeks. You want it to be 30-day facelift. So you basically have 4 weeks. So yours would look like initial, right when they get in, week 1. Right after your refund rate would be your staying bonus, and then your temptation, which comes at the end, the very last week of the program. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So I would say you're definitely clear to move on and start organizing the content into this final calendar. We just really want to think through, Jody, what can we give them? What handouts can we give them? What assessments can we ask them to do? Right. And a good assessment stuff that you might not think about is go do an inventory right now and put a list of how many products you had that include these ingredients. And now we've got women looking through their cupboards, reading the ingredients, which they probably never even did before, right? They have no idea what's up to, which means when they come in and she asks them to, report that in the Facebook group, well, then the next week's open Q&A can say, did you guys see all the photos of how many products had? You make it real for them because they all went into their cupboards and they're revealing exactly what had all that stuff that they didn't even know was toxic until they learned from you. Does that
Oh,
make
that's a
sense?
great idea. I love
Yes.
that.
Yeah. So you want to be looking for ways. How can I give a handout? Can I recommend a product? And you guys, do not forget the power of affiliate commissions, right? If there is a product, a skincare product that Jody loves and she can make a percent off of that, why would she not? Right? I mean, that company pays about 30% of the cost of the product to acquire the customer, right? And so her getting that kickback, it's just a really organic and really holistic way of working with brands that you trust and you love. So look for those product opportunities, okay? Last thing that we would need to do, once we move all the modularized content into this grid, we're going to have to make a decision on timing and on the technology. So the timing is whether or not we're going to do it live or evergreen. But I already admitted my secret agenda, which is for you to have 4 avenues of making more money, right? Live, right? Because I would like you to get paid to do your first program, right? So I would like Jody's sales page to be live and only the prep modules ready inside her course. And that puts a little fire under Jody's booty to get in there week over week and actually finish it. And you know what? If you decide to put off your program until you feel like it, it's never going to happen. But if you have your sales page up and you sold 100, 200, 300 people into your program, Jody's going to be up and early, whether it's early or staying up late or whatever, she's going to be up because she's going to be like, oh my God, it worked, right? People are relying on me. That pressure, because you guys you're healers, you're fixing people, you help humanity. You will feel compelled to get your program done because people already paid you. So that's why I love the pressure of the live launch. So I want you to have it live and then move to the recorded version of that training becomes evergreen, right? And then of course we have to look at the tech that we're going to need to do that. We like for you guys to use a simple processor like Stripe. And then the program that we use to push templates and we integrate with Stripe, you can learn about that at bestcrmplatform.com. And we work on a very specific platform. Okay, so after you have all of that, do you remember that pretty sales page and the pretty membership site that I showed you earlier? Well, I have made a checklist of every image you'll ever need to make that site really beautiful. So when you come to the live 3-day event, if you already had this graphic asset checklist done, it's going to come to life that weekend when we're working together. And that makes it really fun. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do it now. There's no pressure. You can take your own time, right? But I like you to know exactly what you're going to need, because how fun would it be if you came out of that weekend with your program pretty much ready to rock? Pretty fun stuff. Okay, so from what we just looked at with Jody, we know that she has the bones of a program that is ready to come together. We know that from the homework she did, it is looking very much like she's capable of modularizing that and turning that idea into a very viable, very profitable online program. The question is, if she built it, would she be able to sell it? Right? Because we know that there's over $1 billion being spent, but can we capture that market and talk to them in such a way that this becomes more attractive than the Botox, the needles in the face and all that stuff, right? So we want to make sure she's able to write the copy for that. Now, because we're out of time today, we're going to have the copy conversation in a completely separate Facebook Live. So Jody and I have much more for you. We're going to be back here, same bat time, same bat place, right? So next Friday, 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern. We're going to talk about how do we take what you guys know about the avatar you want to serve and how do we turn their pains into language that will actually sell the program for you, right? The whole point of that is that you become the obvious choice. Right? When you can resonate with their pain and you show up as someone who's not going to shame them for having fears about their condition, you become the obvious choice. So we'll be back here next week and we'll walk you through that. If some of you are getting the sense that like, I can do this, like I already see the potential that I can do this. If you would like that discounted price that was offered, that's available for you at this link that we made just for Jody. So her group has access at this link. So it's healascale.com/Jody will take you to the page where you can register to secure your spot at Protocol to Program. Now, you guys, that is a 3-day live event. Okay, it's 9 to 4. The great thing is that all those trainings are recorded. So if you're busy or you miss it, it's all organized into a boot camp for you. And then we'll just invite you to the next live next time so you can still come and get the sense of having that fun group experience. And the group experience helps you meet people who would be great promotional partners for your products, right? Because Jody is going to solve the face problem, right? But if someone else has the, knee injuries or shoulders, you're great at preventing people from having a shoulder surgery. You have the exercises, the products, the way to do it. Well, you know what? Jody doesn't want to go solve that problem. So why wouldn't Jody let her list know about your offer? So it's good to come and mingle and make sure that you reach partners who can promote your stuff. It's cheaper than paying the Zuckerberg Facebook world for all those ads, right? Now that prep for that project is all ready and waiting for you guys. There's a complete roadmap inside the program that's ready and waiting. And this is essentially the tick list between your idea becoming a program that is available for purchase. I know that looks a little overwhelming, but you tick every single box and you will have it completely ready to accept your first payment online. Another thing that Jody asked me to do, I just want to let you know this is coming. You can watch your email because she's going to send you an email to watch this training. She's asked me to make that available completely free for you guys. So we did. She'll send you the link to that. It's called How to Turn Protocols into Profitable Online Programs. You learned a little bit of that today, but that is a longer training. So it goes through a lot more detail. And other than that, we'll just see you guys back here next Friday. And if anybody has any questions, or if Jody, you have any questions, I just want to make sure I take a minute to answer all of those.
I'll look at the list to see if there's any questions, but and go ahead and type in your questions below. And if you enjoyed having Joy here today, please give us some hearts. Like to bring more guests on to help you with your businesses, but I'm super excited about this. And I have to say, it's really amazing to see how this can come together. And it's really hard to conceptualize. And I'm pretty good with big picture things, but really to put it all into a program and have your expertise to bring this to light really will make such a difference. And I'm just saying, like, I actually was just looking at the social media templates that you're providing and the emails templates you're providing, and thinking of the number of hours that I spend trying to do that on my own and never even get, hardly launching a program of my own. We did one on our own, but it was a tremendous amount of work. And to have something like this in place just seems amazing. I'm super excited about it. And actually, when I saw the cost of the program, and I know you don't even want to get into that now, but it's just, I can't even believe it. It's such an amazing value for what you're putting together, and how you can sell one or two of them and you've made your money back. But if you can sell 100 of them or 250 or of the program that you're putting together, it's just the return on investment is huge. So, and I've just been super impressed with bringing you on board here, Joy. I mean, it's when I met you and we talked about bringing you on here, you're a dynamo, and I just loved having you on. And thank you so much for coming on here. Really, really appreciate it. Let me just take a quick look and see if there were any questions.
Yeah, and so there is no sticker shock. We're super transparent around here, so there's no sticker shock. Jody's group is getting this for under $2,000, right? So it's just under $2,000. And when you look, I mean, that launch that we showed you for Taylor, that just closed last week, you guys. And like in 8-week span of time, the promotion was only 2 weeks, but of course she had to do the work and do the homework that I asked Jody to do. She had to do all of that stuff. To have a return of, over 500K, like that's what Jody's saying about, the return on investment, that's definitely there. But we're also doing this for you guys at such a reasonable price because we're looking for the next, right? We're looking for the next Chris Kresser. We're looking for the next Amy Myers, right? We're looking because in Jody's group, what I noticed is that y'all aren't there trying to figure out how to make a ton more money or how to be, scoring financially through the roof. You are in there asking for help about treating people, right? I notice a lot of, hey, I saw this, I saw that test result. What do you guys do when this happens? What do you do when that happens? So Jody, you have a crew of people who are passionate about staying in the forefront. And we're not looking for the people who are trying to go online to milk a few more dollars. We're looking for people who are passionate enough that they're going to use that extra time that they have to stay in the forefront. Yes, they might have more time with their kids and traveling, and we want all of that for you. But we want online programs to be made by the people who are really passionate about what they're doing. I mean, look at Amy, you know, she lost her thyroid and she's not having that, not on her watch. That's not going to happen on her watch again, right? Chris Kresser doesn't want America's chronic illnesses to keep going through the roofs, not on his watch. So if there's something that your body physically tells you, no, not on my watch. Women are not going to have Botox injected into their face every other week. Like, not on my watch. If you get that core feeling in your body when you think about your program topic, that's probably the topic for you.
I love that. And you also, if you think about the reach, it's really hard to help so many people one-on-one. And when you have a solution to a problem and you want to take it and scream through the rooftops about it and tell people, I can help you solve this problem.
Yes.
You can just scale and helps, and the ripple effect of helping so many more people is just so rewarding. So I love that. And I also love the flexibility. And Megan has a question here. She's also a busy mom and, you know, wants more flexibility and be able to, you know, maybe stop working full time. But she says, how is the program set up? Learn at your own pace or schedule courses / deadlines, costs associated. I think we covered some of that. So it's only 3 days, right?
It's 3 days.
And it's intensive, right?
It is. We literally call it an implementation intensive for a reason. And that is that we see a lot of programs out there, and even more so since COVID, of marketing people approaching practitioners. We're even seeing this subset of practitioners approaching other practitioners. But I worry about that, right? If those people have dropped the ball on their own practice and they're just focusing on teaching you how to do a little bit of what they did by having some moderate success online, I don't think that that's necessarily the best opportunity for you guys, because they haven't been through all the cataclysmic changes that can happen in the online marketing world. I mean, I have seen, you know, hundreds of $1,000s a month turn off all of a sudden because there was a tiny change on Facebook or a tiny change on Instagram or a tiny change to Google's algorithm, right? And so I feel like it's a disservice for us not to reach out and say, hey, we have successfully done this for some big brands, and we know exactly what we're doing, and we want to keep you guys in the forefront of that conversation. And then also we notice what happens is you guys will buy those programs, but you don't implement them. So that's why we add the online element with the live element, is because we want to kick your booties. So you can plan on getting some booty kicking, right? And that's done with love, of course, it's done with love. But we like that 3-day implementation intensive because it pushes you forward fast on the areas you feel comfortable. And then the areas where you feel a little more challenged, right? So there's a tech time section on each day. The tech time is what would challenge me the most. Right? So I'm really grateful that Travis has gone the extra mile over and above to record the technical sections slowly, really easily paced with the giant, you know, magnification of the mouse. So you can see click right here, click over there, drag this over here, change the color here. All of that's done really slowly on video so that for those of you who are intimidated by that, no problem. You know, you can take it slowly. So in answer to Megan's question, you know, is it live? Is it go at your own pace? It's set up as an 8-week boot camp for you to get the darn thing done and out the door if you're busy and you're just not going to join us for the live. But to be honest, Megan, I want you there. I want to meet you. First of all, I want to help make sure your idea is great, and we want to help you refine it. Okay. So the live element is there for your benefit. It's not necessary, but I think that you'll have a darn good time doing it and you won't feel alone in the process. And I think that's really important too.
So the 8-week boot camp is part of this program. It's all put in. So it's not just the 3-day live. It's a entire program that's in. You kick off with being live if you can get there. Wonderful.
Yes, exactly. And Jody, if they don't make it to that live, they go through the 8-week program and then they're invited to the next live event. So, and even if you're in this event, you come to the live event, you're doing the 8-week boot camp. If another live event comes up and you just want to join because you love the help and the feedback, right? Good for you.
That's great. And Kelly's asking again, how do I access it? So I think that she said that before we put that up there, but it's www.healatscale.com/JODI. Jody, that's me. So yes, please do go ahead. And if you're ready to do it, go ahead and do that. Either way, definitely tune in next week at the same time. And we will be adding, if you want to unshare, maybe we could talk just another minute, but we will be adding or allowing you all to listen into the next part of my training to get my program off the ground. So definitely tune in for that. And for those of you who are not on the email list for this group, I'm going to have my assistant Terry. You could see her in the comments. You can just message her your email and she can add you to the email list for this group as well. So you can get the replay sent in case you can't make it next week live. And so this discount on that link is especially for members of this group. So make sure if you share that link that you have your friends join this group that are medical professionals as well. But thank you again so much, Joy. Any parting words, or we're good to go?
I just want to say that homework sheet that you did, I'm happy to provide the link to that homework to Terry so she can send it out to the group along with the replay. And that way, whether or not you guys work with us, there's a million ways to get your program launched online. I want you to do it right. I want you to do it from a heart-centered place. So it is my absolute pleasure to gift you that homework. And if it just helps you get your thoughts in order and see that you are indeed coming up with a viable idea, then Jody and I would love for you to have access to that free 90 free. So
that's awesome. Great. Thank you.
All right.
So definitely give Terry your email if you're not already on the email list to this group. If you are, you should have received a notification about this training today. So you don't have to send your email. You're already on the list, but we will send that out to anyone on the list. So thank you so much again, Joy, and I'll see you next week.
All right.
All
Bye,
right.
guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.